Hey, what up, y'all? Mr. Cruz here, the hardest worker in the room, back with another Bandlab video. And in today's video, I kind of just wanted to talk, right? This little thing popped up for me and it made me think about what my rating would be. So stick around and then you'll see what rating I decide to give Bandlab. A lot of people know me from Bandlab, especially like my students at my school is, I'm known as like the guy whose class you get to make beats in and stuff like that. So Bandlab as a whole, as a program, how good is it and how much does it compare to other more professional programs like FL Studio, Pro Tools, Reason, Ableton, Studio One, Cubase? There's a plethora of other programs out there that pretty much do what Bandlab does. So what does Bandlab look like compared to those, especially from the perspective of somebody who does do music professionally? So I will say this. If I had it to do all over again, right? When I first started making music, I didn't have something like Bandlab. I mean, we barely had the internet when I was growing up, man. I'm 35, so we grew up in the dark ages. But if I had something like Bandlab, I probably would be a lot better. I would have gotten a lot better a lot sooner because Bandlab just has a whole bunch of features that is good and easy for somebody who's just getting into music or who just wants to try it out to be able to get their feet wet without having to sacrifice or take the risk of buying expensive equipment or a whole bunch of programs that like are going to take you weeks and weeks or months to learn. And I know I'm not even the most popular channel or the best channel when it comes to like Bandlab tutorials. So like I search some of the other guys' stuff like frequently, and there's a ton of content out there is what I'm saying on learning Bandlab if you want to learn how to do things in Bandlab. But one of the benefits, there are two really great things that I feel like, actually three really great things that I think Bandlab does better than some of the professional DAWs, right? So better than like a Pro Tools. One is the community thing. So actually, let me see if I can go back to the feed. So stuff like this, where it's pretty much a social media page, right? It's a social network where I can create music and I can share that music with other music creators and we can kind of collaborate and things like that. That's a really awesome thing to be able to do. I don't know any other DAW that has a feature like that. Now I know there's programs and there's plugins that allow you to do stuff similar to that, but not to the openness that Bandlab allows, and also not to the ease that Bandlab allows. Like, it's really easy to invite other collaborators to work on a project with you. So that's one thing that I feel like Bandlab does really well. The other thing is, I'm gonna actually have to open up a project here to show you what I mean, is the loops that it has, right? Now, I don't want you guys to get confused or scared. There's no such thing as a royalty-free loop, or man, it's gonna make me do that. I don't want to do it yet. There's no such thing as royalty-free loop or a royalty-free sample or whatever. Because what happens is, not most of the times, somebody's going to beat you to the punch in publishing that, and then when you go to publish it, you're going to get a copyright strike or a copyright claim on your content because it has a royalty-free sound in it that somebody else has already used. Now, there are ways that you can go about clearing that and having your stuff not have that copyright claim. It's a little lengthy and it's very complicated, but for the most part, Bandlab does give you a lot of really great sounds to be able to start out with that you can, and for a lot of different genres too. Like with Logic had a lot of hip hop stuff and a lot of techno stuff. With Reason, I used Reason for several years. Reason had a whole lot of techno, EDM, dance stuff. FL, I don't even know if FL has loops inside of the DAW, but you know, it has stuff that helps you to be able to get started with. So that's another number two, a really great thing. All right, let's go back out. And the other thing that is really amazing about Bandlab is that it's free. It's free and it is very easy to use. I mean, I know most people who are professional musicians or like make beats professionally and stuff like that, they have probably spent months to years like trying to learn the program, learn all the ins and outs of it. For me, for example, like I've been learning music for over a decade and I still don't know everything. So Even when I transitioned from Reason to FL, it took me a good 2 to 3 weeks in order to learn the ins and outs of FL to be able to record comfortably and do the things that I needed to do as quick as possible. But obviously, like and take into account there that like I need a very powerful laptop in order to be able to do it. I've got plugins that I use that are also expensive, and then the program itself is also pretty expensive. So we're talking, I mean, on the low end, we're talking like $500 in order to be able to make music, which respectively is pretty cheap compared to like me growing up. Like the very first keyboard that I had was like $2,000. And all I could do was record like beats in it, make beats in it. I couldn't record vocals in it. Now, $500 for, 1/4 of that price, I can make an entire album, put it out, and possibly win a Grammy. Like, a lot of people don't know, T-Pain, his first album, he made it in GarageBand. Think about that. So it's free. It's completely free, 100% free, and like you can dive in and get started with it. And who knows, I know for me, like I've got kids, and like if my son ever grows up and he's seeing what I'm doing, like, Dad, I want to learn how to do that stuff too. Well, like we know kids are fickle, they come and go with like the breeze of the wind. And so like if he's interested in this now, I got hey, learn Bandlab. And then if he's really dedicated and really likes it, he'll learn Bandlab really, really well, and it costs me nothing, as opposed to like me forking out a ton of money to get him started on a hobby that might not last by the end of the sentence. So there you go. Overall, how would I rate my experience? It says mix editor, but I'm gonna rate my experience in Bandlab. I would give it a solid 3. The reason is Bandlab does lack a ton of features that professional DAWs include. So the ability to use plugins, the ability to adjust a lot of the settings, like your audio settings, being able to record multiple instruments at one time, different options to be able to export, right? You can only export an MP3 and WAV. You're more than likely never going to need the other ones, but I have come into those instances, and then, it's nice to be able to have that. Video support, right? If you're editing, if you're making music for videos, it helps to be able to have video support. And then a whole bunch of other mix features, like there's no mixer channels. I can't create bus channels or a master channel. I'm very limited with some of the effects that it has. So that, me compared to a professional musician, those are the things that I feel like I miss in Bandlab. But Bandlab is really good in order for me to get started on and to see if this is something that I'm really passionate about, that I want to pursue, or if 20 minutes into it, I'm like, this is too complicated, I don't really want to do this. It's, a good introduction into like what music production is kind of really like. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully it's helpful. Let me know what you guys think. All right, based off of this score right here on a 1 to 5, 5 being the best. Let me know in the comments below how you would rate Bandlab and what you would think of it as a music production program overall. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Your boy, Mr. Cruz, out.